We will discuss the static and dynamic polymorphism, but before we proceed in differentiating those two, let us have one more simple example of polymorphism so that we can have a deep understanding of what really is it. So last time, we defined polymorphism as the ability of one object or class to take many forms, one class with many different implementation. In our example, in this illustration, as you can see, halimbawa sa banking system, merong account na module, tapos diba sa mga account, merong savings account, may checking account, and ang method nila is deposit, withdraw. So, yung account is the parent class, and then yung child class is saving and checking account. So, si parent class na account, having some function na withdraw and deposit, no need for the child class doon sa savings and checking account na i-define mo pa yung deposit and withdraw. I-inherit na lang nila yung mga method na yon. In many instances, there is a change in the requirement specification. For example, si client nagpadagdag ng another functionality. So, magpapalit ka ngayon ng requirement specification, nagpalit siya. And that is so common sa software industry. In our illustration, dito sa example natin, meron na diba tayong ginawang savings and checking account na doon sa classes. And then, tapos na yun. Then, nagpadagdag si client ng privilege account. So, ang privilege account kasi is, pwede kang mag-withdraw ng higit pa dun sa balance mo, dun sa account mo. So, ang gagawin natin is, gagayahin lang natin yung ginawa doon sa savings and checking account na in-inherit yung account, yung parent class. But, since magkaiba yung withdraw nila, yun lang yung papalitan mo, yun lang yung babaguhin mo, kung ano yung specification na gusto ni client. Sa example natin, pwedeng mag-withdraw ng higit pa doon sa balance na meron si user. Yun yung privilege account. So, yun lang yung babaguhin mo, yung withdraw. Yung deposit, withdraw sa saving and checking account, hindi na siya papalitan, hindi na siya babaguhin. Yun yung advantage ni OOP. So, paano yung gagawin? So, halimbawa, si withdraw method is called in savings account. So, i-call niya lang yung withdraw method sa account sa parent class. Yun nga yung withdraw. And then, pagdating naman kay privilege account, i-call niya yung withdraw method, but i-customize niya yun, i-override niya yun, depende dun sa gusto niya, depende dun sa kailangan niya. Diyan sa example natin, ang gusto niya is, pwedeng makapag-withdraw ng higher dun sa balance. That is polymorphism. So now that we have understand the polymorphism, let us differentiate the static and dynamic polymorphism. In terms, the synonyms of static is early or static binding, and dynamic is late or dynamic binding. In occurrence, static occurs at compile time and dynamic is occurs at runtime. What is compile time and runtime? Compile time is the time at which the source code is converted into an executable code. So, yung source code is kino-convert siya, tinatranslate siya into a machine code for the computer to understand. While the runtime is the time at which the executable code is started running. Yung executable ay niraran mo na siya. Doon nag-o-occur yung dynamic polymorphism. And the compile time is yung compiler prevents the code pag may error. Hindi niya i-execute kapag may na-detect siyang error dun sa code, sa program. While sa runtime, yung compiler does not detect the error and it cannot prevent the code from the execution. Another differentiation is ang time period nga ng translation of a source code like Java to intermediate code like .class. Diyan na yung nakikita natin kapag kinumpile natin, nagkakaroon ng another file na .class. Diba yung una .java lang, tapos nagkakaroon ng another file pag kinumpile na .class. Sa runtime naman, ito na yung period between the start, kapag nirun na natin siya hanggang matapos yung code yung niraran natin at runtime environment. Si compile time, chine-check niya yung mga errors na nakita niya. Halimbawa, may syntax error. So, hindi niya na yun iraran. Tapos may semantics. And then, the runtime, this is the time na dun pa lang niya makikita yung mga error sa runtime, yung pag niraran ng code. And then, sa compile time, finifix yung error dun pa lang sa code habang nagko-code ka. Kapag may nakita kang error, hindi niya iraran and then babaguhin mo. Sa runtime, fixing an error requires going back to code. So, i-end mo yung pag-run sa runtime environment, saka mo siya babaguhin. So, yun yung difference ng compile time and runtime. An example of static polymorphism is method overloading, while dynamic is overriding the method. Ang method overloading is we have multiple methods, same name siya, with different parameters. Example, si int, may method, may parameter siyang integer. Si float, may method, same name, but with different parameters. Tapos si double, may method, different parameter din siya, may dalawa siyang double. So, yan yung tinatawag na method overloading. Ino-overload mo yung mga parameter na meron siya dati. So, yun na yung pwedeng magamit na yun. Same name, ang i-reference nila, depende dun sa nilagay na parameter. So, pag kinol mo siya, halimbawa, ang meron is may method, tapos integer yung pinapasa, ang i-reference niya is yung may method int x. Example, we have here int, static int plus method int, tapos static double plus method double. So, instead na ito ang gagawin natin na magkahiwalay o magkaiba yung pangalan nila, kasi almost the same, yung ginagawa nila, yung function nila, magre-return lang ng addition ng dalawang number. So, instead na ganun, pag-iibay natin yung pangalan, pwede na nating parehas na yung pangalan, magkaiba lang yung parameter nila. Dito, integer, dun sa isa, double. So, kapag kinol yun dun sa program, kahit anong gamitin mo doon, kung anong ipasa niya, yun ang i-reference niyang method. So, dito, plus method 85, integer yan. So, yun ang i-call niya, yung integer. Hindi yun mag-error. Sa plus method, dito, double, 4.3, 6.26, ang i-call niya yung double, ang parameter. So, kapag hindi yun mag-error kapag nira natin, note that the multiple methods can have same name as long as the number and or the type of parameters are different. So, magkaiba siya. Kung meron kang magkaparehas na method, at ang pangalan nila, tapos parehas yung parameters, yun yung magkaka-error. Meron ka pang another plus method int, tapos parehas lang na ang parameter ay dalawang integer, yun ang magkakaroon ng error. Ang method overriding naman is declaring a method in the subclass which already exists in the parent class. Meron ng method yung class na yun, yung parent class, and then gagamitin yun ni child class, pero i-customize niya, babaguhin niya, depende dun sa gusto niya, dun sa pangangailangan niya. Yun yung advantage ng overriding naman. It is ability to classify a behavior that is specific to the child class. And the child class can implement a parent class method based on its necessity. Halimbawa dito, general lang yung sound ni animal. Animal is making a sound. So, i-inherit yun ni horse nung mga child class, at yung method, i-override nila, babaguhin nila, i-customize nila, depende dun sa kailangan nila. Kay horse, neigh. Kay cat, meow. For conclusion, the static polymorphism is occur at compile time, while the dynamic occurs at runtime. Static polymorphism is known as static binding or early binding, while dynamic is late binding or dynamic binding. And static is the execution speed is high, while dynamic, the execution speed is low. The static polymorphism, ang example niya is method overloading, and si dynamic naman is method overriding.